Welcome back to the channel, JK here, and this is Joy-Con Gaming. Today I'm going to be talking about Nintendo Music, Nintendo's very own music streaming service app. They entered the music market back in October 2024 with this dedicated app, and since then they've continued to steadily release new updates to the service and add additional new features. But how does it stand against the competition, and how does it fare against people's general tech expectations nowadays? Well, I'll be giving my professional take in this video on how they're doing and what they could do to further improve. Now, if you're wondering why I'm referring to myself as a professional, well, I've actually worked within the music industry for the past decade, and pretty much my whole adult life I've been heavily involved within the music industry, starting all the way back at university, where I studied music industries, and I even won an award on the course for my time there. I also put on shows back in my early days in England's second biggest city, Birmingham. I used to put on different bands in lots of different venues there. I put on some festivals and different events. I still put on events to this day. I have my own club night called Meltdown Club Night, and I DJ there as well. I've also managed different bands over the years, so I managed a band called H back in my hometown, a band called Atlantis from Leicester. I managed to get them to #1 position on the Red Bull bedroom charts, and another really cool one, which I'm really proud of. I managed a band called The Morning After, and they were a metal band from the UK. And many of you probably actually know the singer from the band because he's now an international superstar. It's Sam Ryder. Back in the day I managed his band, which was really cool. I've worked for a couple of record labels. I worked for Red Blue Records in Boston, Massachusetts, where I worked on press campaign for Ice Nine Kills. If you remember those guys, they're doing pretty well for themselves right now, playing festivals like Download Festival, I went on the Vans Warped Tour and supported the label there. I've also worked for Big Bear Music, which is a jazz and blues record label in the UK, and the guy who runs the label was actually the original founding manager of Black Sabbath, so it was pretty cool to work with him. His name's Jim Simpson, and he taught me a lot of things too. For the last 8 years I've worked for a group of audio brands who make different audio hardware and software, and I help them out with their marketing technology. So I've been heavily involved, as I say, within the music industry. I use lots of different music software and apps every single day, and so I've been watching Nintendo very closely on what they're doing with the streaming service Nintendo Music, I have some thoughts, so stay tuned. I'm going to go through and do a comparison of how they stack up against competition and take a look at what they're doing, which I think is really cool. Before we really get into that, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to hit 200 subscribers, ideally within the next month, so if you've watched our other videos or you like the sound of this one, please subscribe to the channel, because every single subscriber who joins our community really helps out, and it's a great community to be a part of. We're posting daily on X, Facebook, Instagram as well, so check out our other platforms. Let's get into it. To kick off this video, let's start off by quantifying how Nintendo Music fares against the competition. So we've got 3 streaming giants. We've got Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. I've got a list of features, and I'm going to be ranking how Nintendo Music compares against those 3 using a 4-point scale. So we've got 0, which is it doesn't do a feature at all. 1 is it does a feature but poorly. 2 does a feature fine. And 3, it absolutely smashes or excels in that particular area. So I'm comparing them in terms of features and just general overall experience, and I'm not going to go through how I calculated or justified my rankings for each and every feature within this video. If you're interested in that, I'll upload that video separately and link it in the description below, so go check that out. I'm just going to jump ahead straight to the final conclusion, where I look at the total scores of each platform. So let's take a look at them. Okay, so let's look at how they compare in terms of the rankings. So unsurprisingly, Spotify has come out on top with 44 out of 51 points. YouTube is in second place with 40 out of 51. Apple Music is 38 out of 51, which puts them in third place. And finally, in fourth position, we have Nintendo Music with 24 out of 51 points, which obviously that's quite far behind the competition. However, Spotify, Apple, and YouTube have existed within the industry for a really long time when it comes to their streaming services, and their platforms also do more than just music. They, have podcasts, audiobooks, and videos, depending on which platform you're on. They do more than just music, and yeah, they've existed for a long time, and they incorporate the whole spectrum of music, whereas Nintendo's just focused on their own catalogue, and they've only just launched. Nintendo Music launched back in October of last year, so it's not too bad. Obviously there's a lot of room for improvement, but I also think there's a lot of things that they've got right. Let's hone in a little bit on what they need to improve on. So, full catalogue of music. So there's a lot of things that's missing from the service. As I mentioned in the deep dive video linked in the description below, it's missing the Super Smash Bros. Soundtrack, which is an absolute crying shame, and it's missing a lot more too. It's quite frustrating that they're going with this drip feed approach, just like they are with Nintendo Switch Online games in general. However, the nice thing about it is it always gives you something new to discover pretty much every single week. They're dropping new soundtracks on there, and it makes it kind of exciting for when they do drop something that you've been really wanting. But I can't give them full points because there's a lot of holes in that catalogue that they need to fill, so that's a big area for improvement there. The next is free version with ads. I don't mind because the service is actually quite cheap, but I think for someone who wants to just try it before try before you buy, they should have a longer free trial available, or at least, I don't think they would ever go down the ads route, but I think having a longer free trial option available would maybe, I could give them a point there, that could improve. The big one for me, accessibility on multiple devices. The fact that I can only listen to Nintendo Music on my phone is really frustrating. I want Nintendo Music on my Mac. I want to be able to have Nintendo Music in my car, on CarPlay, and I would like to be able to more easily cast Nintendo Music to things like my Google Nest speaker around my house. So yeah, at the minute, I can only re-listen to it on my phone, which most of the time I'm listening to music when I'm on my computer, as I'm working, or I'm just enjoying browsing the web and doing what I do, working on designs and illustration on my computer. I like to listen to music as well. So the fact that I'd have to, if I want to listen to it, I have to either plug my speakers directly into my phone or find a Bluetooth speaker to connect to. It's a little bit frustrating. Hopefully they'll fix that. Browser-based player. I mean, that could solve that issue. If they had a browser-based player, I could just, open up Brave, Safari, Chrome, whatever browser, you guys use on a computer. I could use that, and that would solve that issue. Artist, composer, information, and credits. Yeah, they really need to fix this. I think it's... Obviously, Nintendo are the rights holders of the music for all of their games, but they work with so many different composers and musicians that it really, for me, who's passionate about music, I want to know what composers have actually created the music. I want to, find composers who are lesser known and look at what else they've done, whether that's either other games for Nintendo or other game developers, or just what other music they've created in general, and I'll listen to them on those other streaming services. That's really important for me and a lot of people. And artists getting paid fairly. I mean, Nintendo, as of last year, when it comes to their salaries, they were the second highest average salary company within the whole of Japan. So they do pay their staff, including the musicians who work for them, very well, but all of the money that they're collecting through Apple Music is going to be going directly to Nintendo and not the composers who worked on these games. I'm not expecting them to pay them because that's the agreement they have with the composers. Once you pay, they either pay them to work on a commission for a game or for a certain piece, or they're permanent employees of Nintendo and they're on the payroll. I wouldn't expect them to get additional royalties on top. However, we should see the credits or the names of the different artists and composers who've worked on the music, so that it's easier for people like me to discover what else they've worked on and either purchase their music or listen to them elsewhere. And yeah, finally, ability to buy music. Again, this is exactly like Nintendo Switch Online. It's really great that we can basically effectively stream games or music and pay for it as a service. But if there's a soundtrack that you just want to own, I think they should have the ability to buy the music, whether that be the MP3s or a link to Nintendo's online store and buy a physical CD. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, they're the areas I think they need to improve on. But like I say, I don't want to be too negative because I think Nintendo Music has actually got quite a lot right, especially since it's in its infancy. So let's have a look at what Nintendo Music is doing really well. So I'm going to give 5 things that I think Nintendo Music is doing very well. The first one is the album artwork. One of the amazing things about the service is you can go to any album or soundtrack for a game, and every single track has its own unique screenshot from the game. So even if you're not going to listen to the soundtrack in its entirety, it's very fun to just swipe through different songs and take a trip down memory lane and look at all of the different screenshots. I did this recently with Ocarina of Time. Obviously, that soundtrack is just like chef's kiss. But yeah, looking at the screenshots from the game brought back so many memories, and that's a very, very cool feature. And also, if you've not played a game before, it almost gives you like a little glimpse into the game, so you can listen to the soundtrack, you can take a look at the shots from the game and see whether or not you want to try that game. Which brings me on to the second cool feature. For every track you listen to, there is a link to see which game it's from, and if that game is available on the Nintendo eStore or on Nintendo Switch Online, you can click the link and it will take you to Nintendo's website, which will then have a link which will take you to the actual game, which is really nice. Hopefully in the future, Nintendo brings the music app to the Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo Switch 2, and when you click that option, it just takes you there and then on the Switch. That would be pretty cool, and they may even get some more additional sales that way. So it'd be cool for the user, but it would also benefit Nintendo because they get more people playing their games or purchasing games. The next thing, the third feature, is the extend feature. So this is really cool. For songs or tracks that are quite short in length, but you have the ability to extend them, by 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or half an hour, or up to an hour, I think. So there are certain tracks which are, maybe very ambient and nice, relaxing music that you want to have on in the background. So the ability to set it to 30 minutes or an hour and just have it on loop is really great. So if you're trying to study or you're really concentrating on something, there's a lot. I think Nintendo, they have some really great soundtracks that are perfect for that. The fourth one is spoiler block. Now this is a really unique feature. I'm not sure exactly how it comes into play, but if there's a playlist that you're listening to that could contain spoilers for that game, if you enable spoiler block within the settings, it will take those tracks off so that you don't see any spoilers. I think it's probably also because they feature screenshots of from within the games on the tracks. That could also be part of why it could reveal spoilers. But either way, if you're sensitive to things like that, the ability to turn that off in the settings is very cool. And finally, the fifth one is unique playlists based on different characters. I never would have thought to listen to a playlist based on Wiggler or Birdo or other obscure characters, but the fact that you can and it comes up on the home tab as recommendations, is quite funny, and it's just Nintendo's mission is to bring smiles to people's faces, and I guess it connects with that because it definitely brought smiles to my face when I saw these wacky playlists and had to listen to them. So they're quite unique features, unique to Nintendo, and it's very nice that they're there, and I think that's very cool. So let's take a look at why Nintendo chose to release Nintendo Music. I'm speculating a bit, but I think there are a few key reasons as to why they chose to release the service. The first one is it's tied to Nintendo Switch Online, so you can't access the app unless you're a paying member for the NSO service. The NSO service is very cheap right now. It's only £1.50 a month here in the UK, or if you're a family of 8, it's 33 pence per month, which is ludicrously cheap. Nintendo, I think they're trying to be very competitive on the price there when it comes to game streaming services against the competition, and it's working for them because they've got a huge install base. But what they want is to have people continue to pay for that service every single month or commit to longer memberships. And having Nintendo Music as part of that service gives people a reason to continue paying. Also, because they are drip feeding games on the service, and now they're drip feeding music, it enables them to stagger their releases and always have something exciting for people to come in and explore. The second reason, I think, is new twists. Nintendo likes to have their gimmicks or put new twists and spins on things, and they're delivering their music in a way that is familiar but also slightly different. You've got the extend features, the spoiler block features, the ability to see the in-game artwork, unique per track. So yeah, they put their own stamp on it, which I think is really cool. And another reason is, you're always staying with Nintendo's sphere of influence. You're able to now you carry Nintendo around in your pocket. You've got the mobile apps. Now you've got Nintendo Music in your pocket. And when you do listen to the music, you also have the ability to look at the screenshots from the games and get excited about games that maybe you've not played before, and find out what games they're from by clicking on, seeing that within the description. So it helps you get more immersed into Nintendo, and you're able to dive deeper into that world of games if you want to. And then ultimately, making more money. I mean, Nintendo is a company at the end of the day, and they want people, they don't want people just playing their music on YouTube and them not collecting the royalty payments on it. This way, if they gate how you can listen to their music, you have to pay for their service, and therefore that money goes into Nintendo, which should, in theory, be good for us because it gives them more money to develop their NSO service or their games. And from a consumer side, it gives them more control over the customer experience. So I think a lot of people right now, or historically, have listened to Nintendo's music via YouTube, and so you're relying on uploads from random people on the internet. The quality could be very poor, it could be highly compressed, have a really low sample rate, and have annoying ad break interruptions and things like that. Creating their own app, Nintendo are in complete control of the customer experience, and the UI and the experience overall is really good when you're using the app. I think my main criticisms of the service is just the fact that you're limited to listen to it on your phone. Want them to expand that service and make it available on other devices, and then I think we'll be onto a winner. Right then, before we wrap up, it's time for our community section, where we celebrate the growing Joy-Con community on our social networks from X, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and more. So our player of the week goes to PokeTrainer_CT on Instagram. I've enjoyed talking to this person. We both share a love of the Super Smash Bros. Melee soundtrack. That's how I came across them. I had a post on Instagram, which they then sent me a direct message talking about the game soundtrack, and we connected through there. So thank you for your support. And our fan art feature goes to another artist on Instagram called Omoiki, And Omoiki has a really great artist and illustrator with a very bright and vivid colour style. They've done fan art for Splatoon, Wario, Mario, and things like that. So yeah, definitely check out their artwork. I'll put it in the description below. Thank you both for supporting the channel, and yeah, I look forward to speaking to more of you out there. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. My name's JK. This has been Joy-Con Gaming. If you did enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any of our future updates. As I say, we're on a goal to hit 200 subscribers within the next month, so if you can subscribe, that would really help us out a lot. Hope you liked the video. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, keep sharing the joy.